Hello everyone, welcome to Chess with Amaan. And since this is the first video, the agenda for this video is going to be pretty simple. Pretty simple, guys. This video is for beginners. And what do I mean by beginners? Who do not know anything about chess and want to know what it is all about, how the game goes, how you play with black, white, what are these pieces, how do they move, how does a person win, how does a person lose. Everything is what everything. I mean, almost everything about the basics of chess is going to be covered in this video. So without any further ado, let us begin. So basically, guys, chess is a two-player game where the objective of the game is to basically checkmate the king. And not now, how do I simplify this? Well, only time will tell, because after you get to know about how the pieces move and what the king does and how important it is in the game, you will get to know what checkmate is towards the end of the video. So stay tuned, watch till the end. Alright, guys. So over here, this is how your chessboard looks like. Now, the first thing that you want to know is who are these pieces? What do they do? So, let me start off with these चुटकू pieces. ठीक है? तो ये pieces ना, they are basically called as pawns. So over here, I'm going to basically introduce you to the first piece. And the first piece is a pawn. Now, always remember, a pawn always moves forward. That means it can only go ahead. Now, how do I show this? Well, over here, where are you? Yeah, over here, let us take any pawn over here. Let's take this one. So it has the option of moving either one square ahead or two squares ahead. It cannot go sideways. It cannot go sideways like this. It cannot go over here. Okay. It cannot go there. It always moves forward. So if it's at one place, it can move either one step or two steps ahead. So the question is, after moving two steps, and let's say black also moves two steps ahead, can I move two steps now? No, I can't. So that two steps ahead वाला जो special move है ना, वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ पहले move पे होता है. इसका मतलब क्या? अब for example, now can I move two squares? Yes, you can, because this pawn is on the starting rank. If the pawns are on the starting position, you can take a two square jump if required, or you can just choose to stay here. And now, can I play two squares after this? Can I play two squares? No, I can't. Once it's moving from the starting position, it cannot move two squares ahead. That is about the pawn. That's the first point about a pawn. The second thing about this piece is that it moves forward. Yes, that's true. But it captures pieces diagonally. Yeah, you can take that into note. Now you'll say, what does that mean? Well, let this load. Yeah. So let us say we play this, and let's say black plays this. Over here, the pawn has the power to capture diagonally this way. Okay. Or let's say black plays let's say you have this. I can capture it here. Or I can capture it here. Now the question arises, why? Well, that's how the game is, right? So first thing, it moves forward. Second thing, it captures diagonally. Third thing about a pawn is that when it goes to the last, rank of the board, the last row that is there, it turns into any of the major pieces. It could be queen, bishop, knight, or rook. We are going to look at this particular aspect later in this video. All right. So that is about the pawn, guys. Okay. So we will hold this other point that we have with us, right? Uh, that promotes to a piece after reaching the end of the board, right? Okay, guys. So after knowing all about the pawn, now let us go ahead and understand about the next piece. Well, let's start from A, right? Now, where is A? What is A? What is B? Over here, if you see, this square is known as A1. Why? Because here the boxes, these files, they have been named with a certain alphabet, and these rows, or you can say ranks, they have been named with numbers. As you can see here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So basis the coordinates that the pieces are on, you can actually tell where the piece is. You can give a notation to the piece. Let us say I move here, so you're going to say that I am on E. Okay, so this is this part of it. So this is E, and this is 4. So this pawn is located on E4. So I would recommend all of you to try this out, okay, and tell me in the comment section, if pawn moves here, where is the pawn located? All right, yeah. So this is something that you should try on yourself, on your part, because it's fun. I mean, it's simple logic. Okay, let me give you another example. If the pawn is here, or let's say the knight is here, let's say the knight jumps up here. Now the question is, where is the knight? The knight is on, first you name the alphabet D, and then 5. So the knight is on D5, right? It's that simple, nothing else. Now guys, let's go back to our introduction to pieces. So over here we have the rook. People call it elephant. Okay, most of you beginners must have referred to it as an elephant. अब ये क्या होता है guys, कि elephant का काम होता है सिर्फ सीधा, मतलब it's always straight. I mean, it either goes, it looks ahead, and if it turns 90 degrees always. It doesn't go cross or something. Now, what do I mean by this? Let me keep it very simple to you guys. A rook can move in the directions of north, south, east, and west. So if a rook was, let's say, here, so let me bring the rook there, okay, for you guys. So the rook is on its journey here, and now, yeah, the rook is here. So guys, now the rook can go up here, it can go there, it can go here, it can go here. It's up to it. I mean, obviously, it cannot go over a piece. I cannot put the rook on the pawn, obviously, but I can put it here. I can put it here. I can put it there. It can go completely across the board. It's not like, it can move one square at a time like the pawn. It can go completely, it can pura us taraf, pura is taraf. It has a lot of powers. It can capture this pawn when it's, coming in its way. So anything that comes in the way of north, south, east, and west, it can go south as well, right? But it cannot go diagonally. You can see. So if I click on a rook, you can see the available squares for the rook. So these are the available squares right now, because north, south, east, and west. Now let us say, this happens. Now this is also an available square for the rook, if you see here. So yeah, I mean, it's logical. So wherever you have a rook, the only places that you can move to are its complete north south, its complete east west. So just keep that idea in mind, because obviously you all are aware about north south east west. So I'm keeping that with me. Okay, let me, yeah. Okay, so over here we don't need these numbers. Yeah. All right, guys. Now let us go to the second piece, that is the rook. So for the rook, guys, simple words: north, south, east, and west. All right, simple. There was nothing so far. Now let us go back to the starting position of the board. Now I'm going to introduce. So over here, guys, there are two rooks, obviously. One is on the dark square, and one is on the light square. Next piece that you have on the board, which is there on both the light squares and dark squares, is the knight. Okay, not N-I-G-H-T, not good night, but this is K-N-I-G-H-T, knight, right? Now, the knight is a very unique piece, unlike the bishop, the queen, and the king, and others. The knight has a very weird way of moving around. Okay, you would be kind of baffled at first as to what is going on here. But the knight doesn't go straight, it doesn't go, you know, diagonally. Instead, it moves in an L shape. Okay, Now what is this L here? It's this. If you can't see the arrows, let me draw it in red for you. So here you go. So this is the L shape that I'm talking about here. So it goes two squares up, and this is the third square. Can it go here? No, it can't. But can it go here? Yes, it can. So if you see here, it can go here, it can go here, it can go here, here. Now what are these? All of these are L shapes. If you see here, this is an L shape, this is an L shape, this is an L shape, right? So all these L shapes are made by the knight, right? So let us say you have this knight comes in, and this knight is here. Now see here, guys, the knight, let's say, uh, yeah. So now in this case, wait a sec, yeah. In this position, guys, the knight has a lot of options. The first one is to go here. It can jump there. It can jump here. It can jump here, right? It can jump here, 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 anywhere, right? Anywhere it wants. And the best part is that it can jump over pieces, guys. So if I wanted to go here, I'll have to jump over this, unlike any other piece. Because all the other pieces, I cannot jump my bishop because bishops, they don't diagonally. We'll come to that. Or let's take the rook. I cannot take the rook here because it's blocked by the pawn. But if you saw the knight coming out, it just came above the pawn. It like galloped over the pawn and it reached c3. And in this case, it's on e5. So the point here is everyone must know this, that as a beginner, the first and foremost thing that you have to do is understand how the knight moves. The moment you understand the beauty of its movement, you can use it and win many games, right? A lot of openings, every opening, to be honest, consists of strategic movement of the knight so as to gain an advantage. Now, you might not understand what I've said now, but as we progress further, you will definitely understand. So all you have to know now is that the knight moves in an L shape and only moves for three squares. You cannot take the knight back. You cannot say this is an L shape, right? So it's only for three squares. It's a very limited movement, unlike the rook, where the rook can go completely to one side of the board. The pawn and the knight, they are always limited, and the king as well. They have limited movement. They have restricted movement. They cannot go to extremes of the board. Now, if you see the knight, it can only go to all these squares. It can capture here, or it can basically go up here. It can retreat back this way, and over here, the way you see it's moving, it's like two squares and then one square, or either two squares, one square. So you can see that this L that we are creating here. Okay, so if I simply draw this out for you, so let us say these are three boxes. So this is where the knight is. So if this is where the knight is, so the knight goes from one square to another this way. Or this is the first case. So this is case one. Don't mind my handwriting over here because I'm writing it with the mouse, right? The next thing is that let's say the knight is here. So it can move this way, right? I'm so sorry. If the knight, sorry, the knight is up here. Yeah. So if the knight is up here, it goes this way, which is this one. But the other one is that it basically, where can I erase it? Where are you? Yes. Yeah. So let's say the knight is here. So it goes this way and it goes here, making an L shape again. So either the L is like this or the L is like this. Doesn't matter. Okay. I mean, L can be this, 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 this. It can be this and this as well, right? So these shapes are completely fine, but it always consists of three squares, guys. Three squares, and that's what you gotta remember. So let's come back. No, I don't want to draw anymore. No, I don't want to draw. No. Oh yeah, there you are. Okay. So let's go back. Knight I'm just gonna write L shape for now, but you guys have to practice. Okay, just I'll tell you what to do. Okay, basically go to chess.com, and over here you can come to setup position. Okay, setup position. You can clear the board completely. Get the knight here to the center. Okay, and then just practice. Okay, just move. You can just by the way, you can just put the knight here, click on it, and see how it is moving, right? So you can see here, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 8 ways that the knight moves. All right. So I hope you all now have a good idea about how the knight moves. All right. Now let us go back to our analysis. Yeah. So we have looked at the pawn, the rook, the knight. Now comes another piece, the bishop. Now over here, the bishop being on the dark square and the light square. This matters a lot because they control their respective colored diagonals, right? So the dark squared bishop controls the dark squares, the light squared bishop controls the light squares. So you have to have an idea as to how you're going to manage them, right? So in different positions, you're going to need different ones. Because over here, the knight from the dark square moves to the light, from the light to the dark, and so on and so forth. But the bishop, this bishop can move to the extreme lengths of any diagonal that it goes to, right? So if I take you to this, where are you? Oh, you set up position, if I take you, and then when I clear, if I get a bishop here and another bishop here. So these are the bishops that I'm talking about here. Now, if I click on this bishop, you can see the available squares that it has. So it can go here, it can go b2, a3, it can go d2, e3, f4, g5, and h6. And if I put the bishop here, then when I click on it, you can see its extent. It's always on the diagonals from where it is situated on. तो वहां से अगर आप जिधर भी दूर तक देखो, जितने भी आपके डार्क स्क्वायर्स होंगे ना, तो उस पे वो जा सकता है. सॉर्टेड है. ठीक है, इतना ही है. अगर आप इसको भी ले लो, तो इसको मैं इधर डाल दूंगा और इस पे क्लिक करूंगा, तो आप देखोगे कि इसकी इतनी रीच है. राइट, परफेक्ट. अब क्या, बोर्ड तो खाली है. अब नेक्स्ट पीस कौन है? नेक्स्ट पीस है आपका. तो पॉन हो गया, ठीक है, बिशप हो गया, नाइट हो गया, रुक हो गया. अब मैं बुलाऊंगा किसको? क्वीन को, और एक और क्वीन को. क्वीन नहीं नहीं नहीं, मुझे ओके ओके, नाउ आई डोंट वांट. हाँ, तो क्वीन हमेशा इधर रहेगी, ठीक है, ऑन द बोर्ड. आपके पूरे पीसेस सेटअप करेंगे तो क्वीन ऐसा रहता है. Queen is a combination of rook and bishop. So let's write that down, guys. ठीक है, तो knight के बाद हमने देखा bishop. तो अगर आप bishop की बात करें तो वो सिर्फ अपने diagonals को देखता है. और जब आप बात करोगी queen की, it is bishop plus rook. इसलिए it is called as the strongest piece on the board. Okay, it is called as the strongest piece on the board. Trust me. क्यों? क्योंकि देखो, बिशप पूरे अपने डायगोनल्स को देखता है, रुक अपने पूरे नॉर्थ साउथ ईस्ट वेस्ट को देखता है, क्वीन ये पूरे डायरेक्शंस को देख रहा है. ठीक है, नॉर्थ साउथ ईस्ट वेस्ट और साथ में डायगोनल्स. दैट इज व्हाई इट मेक्स इट द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट पीस ऑन द बोर्ड. सो if I bring the queen here and now click on it, you can see the number of squares it is looking at once, unlike the bishop. So if I get the bishop here, and if I नहीं, बिशप को निकालना था यार. हाँ, बिशप को इधर में लाया, ठीक है, और अब लेट अस से मैं एक और बिशप को इधर लाया. ठीक है, तो क्वीन पे से क्लिक किया, अब ये बिशप पे क्लिक किया, बिशप पे क्लिक किया तो सिर्फ डायगोनल्स दिख रहा है. अगर मैं ये रुक को इधर लाया, अब ये क्या कर रहे हो भाई, रुक को नहीं खाना था. ठीक है भाई, ऐसे मत करो. हाँ, सबको खा जाओ, तुम भी इसको खा जाओ और तुम भी इसको खा जाओ, मजाक करो. पॉइंट ये है guys, कि कि क्वीन ना बहुत सारे पीसेस को देखता है, बहुत सारे स्क्वायर्स को देखता है एक साथ. तो द पॉइंट ऑफ एवरी सिंगल गेम दैट यू प्ले should be to not lose your queen. All right. So this is about the queen, and the last piece on the board, which is the most important piece. Okay, the most important piece on the board is the king, guys. King is the most important and the weakest piece. I'll not lie to you, pawn से ज्यादा weak ये होता है मेरे हिसाब से, क्योंकि देखो pawn ना एटलीस्ट एंड रैंक में जाके क्वीन बन जाता है, किंग कुछ नहीं करेगा। किंग का बस रीच होता है, लेट्स से जस्ट रिमूव दिस, किंग का रीच होता है ओनली वन स्क्वायर एट अ टाइम इन ऑल डायरेक्शन। जैसा पॉन सिर्फ सामने जाता है, किंग कहीं भी जा सकता है बस एक स्क्वायर हट के। ठीक है। और एक और चीज आपको बताता हूँ किंग के बारे में, कि अगर किंग के पास कोई स्पेस नहीं है जाने को, और कोई पीस को आप हिला नहीं सकते हो, कुछ नहीं कर सकते, कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं बचा आपके पास, और आप चेक में हो, अभी चेक क्या होता है, सब क्या होता है अभी सीखेंगे हम, तभी आपका चेकमेट होता है। मतलब किंग जब हार मान जाता है तभी चेकमेट होता है। तो किंग इसलिए बहुत जरूरी होता है आपके लिए। और एक और चीज गाइस, जब दो किंग आपस के सामने होते हैं, यू कैन नॉट मूव द किंग बिसाइड द किंग कभी भी। तो किंग के एक स्क्वायर बाजू आपका दूसरा किंग नहीं हो सकता है। और अब हम जाते हैं एक एनालिसिस वाले पेज पे। ठीक है। और आपकी किंग के बारे में एक और चीज जानते हैं कि चेकमेट कैसे होता है। तो लेट अस से ऐसा कुछ गेम हुआ। ठीक है। ये बहुत फेमस चीज है ये, बाय द वे। ठीक है। ये बहुत फेमस चेकमेट है। इधर हैशटैग दिखा रहा है विच मींस चेकमेट। और यहाँ पर आप देखो कि क्वीन आपका किंग को कैप्चर नहीं किया, राइट? यू हैव नॉट कैप्चर्ड एनी पीस हियर, यू हैव नॉट कैप्चर्ड द किंग येट, but you're threatening to capture the king on the next move. So when you threaten to capture the king on the next move, that is called a check. And to counter this check, you have the first option, that is to capture the piece threatening the king. Can I capture the queen in any way? Can the knight capture? No, because the knight moves in these two squares. Can the bishop? No, bishop is looking at only this diagonal at this point. This pawn is blocking it. Can the queen capture this queen? No, it cannot, because ये सिर्फ अपने डायगोनल को देख रहा है, सामने भी नहीं दिख रहा है, बिकॉज ये पॉन बीच में आ रहा है। क्या? दैट्स द फर्स्ट थिंग। ठीक है। सेकंड थिंग हाउ टू अवॉइड अ चेक इज फॉर द किंग टू मूव। ओके, किंग हटना पड़ेगा। क्या किंग कहीं हट सकता है? हाँ, मैं इधर हट सकता हूँ, बट क्या हटने से क्वीन ले लेगा? हाँ, ले लेगा। तो अगर आप चेक में हो और चेक को अवॉइड नहीं कर पा रहे हो एज अ किंग, दैट इज चेकमेट गाइस। दैट इज हाउ अ गेम एंड्स। ठीक है। There are other ways of a game ending as well, which we will look at in the future videos. लेकिन आपको इतना समझना है कि चेस के अंदर आपके पीसेस एक पर्टिकुलर तरीके से मूव होते हैं, उनके कुछ रूल्स होते हैं मूव होने के, और एंड गेम ऐसा होता है कि भाई आपका किंग के पास कोई जगह है ही नहीं मूव करने, तब आपका गेम एंड होगा। फेयर इनफ? सबको आया? तो किंग के बारे में आपको ये चीजें जानना था कि कितना जरूरी है आपका किंग। अब गाइस, यू आर नाउ अवेयर। ठीक है। तो हमारे नोट्स को भी हम एक बार खत्म कर देते हैं विद द किंग विच कैन मूव one square at a time in all directions. I know this is boring, notes में से क्यों लिख रहा हूँ, क्योंकि चेस तो गेम है, मजे लेना है। बट अगर आपके पास ये स्टार्टिंग के बेसिक्स अगर आपके पास रहेंगे और आप एक बार देख लोगे खुद से, तो आपके पास एक स्ट्रॉन्ग फाउंडेशन आने आने के बाद आपको ये सब की जरूरत पड़ेगी। ठीक है। You can just practice on your own. You have your chess.com, you have chess, anything you can take. You just need an analysis board and you can practice certain stuff on your own, especially the openings. अभी openings क्या होता है अभी सीखेंगे, बट ये जो मूवमेंट है ना पीस की, पहले आप ये जान लो। अगर आपको ये आ गई तो आगे की चीजें बहुत सिंपल दिखेंगी। तो आपको ये वीडियो के थ्रू ये तो पता चल गया कि आपका गेम कैसे खत्म होता है, कौन से पीसेस कैसे मूव करते हैं। अब मैं आपको बताऊंगा। ठीक है। सो ये सिर्फ 30 मिनट का वीडियो होने वाला है। आई गेस अप्रोक्सीमेटली 25 मिनट्स हो चुके होंगे। तो और एक 5 मिनट में आपको ये भी बता देता हूँ कि एक चेस गेम जो होता है उसको आप 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हो। आप बोलोगे क्या ये 3 पार्ट्स, बताओ ना। तो मैं बोलूंगा ठीक है, बताता हूँ। फर्स्ट आपका जो होता है ये होता है ओपनिंग। ठीक है। तो इधर एज वाइट और एज ब्लैक, डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ यू प्लेइंग। लेट्स से इफ यू आर इवन प्लेइंग एज ब्लैक, ठीक है, कुछ ऐसे ऐसे प्रॉब्लम नहीं। गेम हमेशा वाइट शुरू करता है। ठीक है। गेम हमेशा वाइट शुरू करता है और वाइट कभी भी एक ओपनिंग चूज करता है। वाइट के पास बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस होते हैं। फर्स्ट वाइट का ऑप्शन होता है कि वो E4 खेले, या D4 खेले, नाइट टू F3 खेले। ठीक है, बहुत सारे ऑप्शन है। ठीक है, B3 खेले, you have lot of options as white। ठीक है, now as black what you have to do is you have to counter this। for example E4 खेलता है तो आप E5 खेलते हो, या आपके पास कितने ऑप्शंस है गाइस। you have C5, C3, you have D5, you have not D3 by the way, D6 है ये। ठीक है ये C6 है ये, सॉरी। ठीक है, और फिर आपके पास हर ऑप्शन है आपके पास लिटरली। you can literally push this, you can stop here, right? I don't know about this, guys. Really, I don't know. I don't know about this. It's like dumb. Don't do that. But but yeah, this is completely fine. This is a very safe beginner's way of playing. Copy his moves. Do you copy this as well? You can. This is also an opening, but don't. Instead, just understand वो क्या करना चाह रहा है, pieces कैसे capture होता है। अगर आपने कुछ भी ऐसे खेल दिया तो ये आपका एक पॉन ले लेगा। और अब यहाँ पर देखोगे और आपको डाउट आएगा ये +1 क्या होता है। नेक्स्ट वीडियो में आपको पीसेस की वैल्यू बताऊंगा मैं, बट अभी के लिए आपको बस इतना समझना है। ठीक है, तो यू डोंट वांट हिम टू कैप्चर अ फ्री पीस, सो हाउ डू यू डिफेंड दिस पॉइंट। ईदर यू पुश दिस, ठीक है, ईदर यू पुश दिस, और अ बेटर वे इज टू गेट दिस आउट। क्यों नाइट को क्यों निकालो, नाइट को तो सेफ अंदर रखना है मुझे। नहीं नहीं नहीं, कभी भी आप ओपनिंग खेलते हो, अ बेसिक थिंग दैट यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड एज अ बिगिनर इज कि आपके जो जो भी ये नाइट बिशप है ये बाहर होने चाहिए, और ये जो दो सेंट्रल पॉइंट्स है, ठीक है। तो कभी भी ना आपका एम होना चाहिए एज ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट टू कैप्चर द सेंटर। ये ऑब्वियसली एक गलती है जो आप खेले हो अभी। डोंट प्ले दिस you can just take here, but the point here is कि जितना आपके पास सेंटर में स्पेस रहेगा, सेंटर क्या होता है, ये चार स्क्वायर्स होते हैं, ये नाइट्स, ये बिशप्स, ठीक है, ये नाइट बिशप ये सब जब आपके बाहर होंगे ना ऑन गुड स्क्वायर्स, कौन से स्क्वायर्स होंगे वो डिपेंड्स ऑन द ओपनिंग, एंड ओपनिंग्स हम आगे की वीडियोस में सीखेंगे, डोंट वरी। अभी बस आपको एक छोटा सा आइडिया हो जाना चाहिए कि गेम कैसा है, जिससे आप exponentially you can get better, literally। and if you don't know anything you don't have to worry about openings, just play the game, you can play any move, but every move that you play should have a logic। आपको ये फीलिंग आनी चाहिए कि अगर मैं ये खेलूंगा तो सामने वाला उससे क्या रिस्पॉन्ड करेगा। इससे आपका थिंकिंग एक नेक्स्ट लेवल पे चले जाती है, राइट। सो दिस इज हाउ यू दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द इंट्रोडक्शन दैट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द गेम। ठीक है, और आपको कुछ ज़रूरत है नहीं, बहुत कुछ है, बट अभी के लिए आपको शुरुआत के लिए बस मैं आपको इतना बोलूंगा, आपको सिर्फ दो चीजें बोलूंगा करने को। एक है कि जो पीस की मूवमेंट है उसको समझ लो, और दूसरी आपके जो स्क्वायर्स है उनकी जो नेमिंग है, जैसे कि ये स्क्वायर आपका क्या हो गया, B5 हो गया, वैसे आपको अलग अलग स्क्वायर्स के अलग अलग नाम आपके दिमाग में होना चाहिए। चलो, so with this I would like to end the video। okay, and by the way, amazing notes for you guys। well, I will see you in the next video। हम लोग और दूसरे टैक्टिक्स वगैरह देखेंगे, कैसे चलता है गेम, दुनिया क्या है चेस की, 64 स्क्वायर्स की अमेजिंग दुनिया है गाइस। you should definitely give it a try, and together we can just have fun, and yeah। Anyway, chalo, bye bye, see you in the next video। Thank you so much।